Hi, I'm John Palmentary, and today we're doing a City Council candidate interview for District Number 3 in Santa Barbara with Tony Becerra. District 3 covers the west side of Santa Barbara, but actually goes all the way over to the edge of State Street. So it's very influential at a number of different streets and communities in Santa Barbara. We have 4 questions for Tony. We'll ask his opponent the same questions and keep the timing about the same, so it's even across the board. And we're giving the candidates an opportunity to talk about their district and the city as a whole. So Tony, thanks for joining us here. We're in your workplace here on Santa Andres Street. And specifically in this district, what concerns do you have in your district, and how would you address them if elected? And what needs immediate attention and what needs long-term attention?
Well, the reason I got involved was, first of all, is public safety. I always, say public safety is first. And it comes in different levels, of course, response times for our first responders. But secondly, just the general safety of the public, So for me, lighting was a big deal on this street. People don't feel safe walking up and down the street, especially, during when we have heavy homeless in the area, And so the lighting is important, the safety of the sidewalks. I've had people trip on the sidewalks, come tell me, recently something happened in front of Foodland and the city repaired it very quickly, so within a week, so that was great to see. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good repair, it was a patch, but you got to take what you can take, right? So, but another concern, and probably the biggest for me, because I have so many young kids that train at my academy, is crossing the street of San Andres. We have traffic moving 45 miles an hour sometimes, and so for them to have a safe crossing is a big deal. And I think if we can put some lit crossing walks, that'll help the community because they'll feel safe. The elderly will feel safe crossing the road instead of playing Frogger, and that's what they're doing right now. So as someone who's been involved with community service organizations and the Ben Page out in Goleta, I know how to get things done, how to bring the private sector with the public, and being able to get people to join together for one common cause, and that way we can move things forward and get results.
That moves us to our second question, which is the city of Santa Barbara has what's been an estimated $7 million deficit as of approximately last June. It might be more now. How do you see the city getting out of this, and how did you see the city getting into it? What happened here, and how do we get out of it?
Well, I think it's a matter of being responsible. As a businessman, I've had this business for 33 years, and I've had my up and downs. I survived through COVID. A lot of martial arts schools didn't, and I can take that experience, not only being, a business owner, but also being a father, a leader of my house, that I can take, the ability to look at finances from a real perspective of responsibility. And that's the thing with our city hall, is that they don't have that responsibility. They feel like they have an open checkbook, and that's just not the case. We're, the officials are supposed to take care of how they spend the people's money. It's tax dollars that are coming in, and so we just need to make sure that they're doing it the right way. It's not too long ago that we were at a surplus, and how do we get here? And I think it's been, it's not just this that's it, people that are in power now, but it's been an accumulation of the last 20 years of bad decisions, repeat projects, things that were just overlooked. So I think when I'm elected, I'm going to go through and see if we have any duplicate things going on, so we can eliminate those and really streamline how it's looked at. But again, from a business perspective, rather than just from an open checkbook area,
Moving on now, this is a very tough time for people. What's your message of hope that you give to residents, especially at a time when we have high housing costs, we have high inflation, life in general is just tough? How do you give your constituents, your neighbors, hope, both the young and the old?
Well, I think a lot of times it's just thinking outside of the box. We go in with our mundane lives, just moving forward, not smelling the roses sometimes, which I find myself doing a lot because you're grinding, trying to provide, and they're doing the same thing, working multiple jobs as I do as well. So it's a matter of having a vision. When you have a vision and then you're able to have people see your vision, and have the tools to be able to reach those goals, that's what I have, So I want to take that to City Hall and be able to unite people like I've done in the past. I've been in community service for, my whole adult life, but just not paid for it, not in a position, but always just helpful. So the idea is just to, to give them a vision of hope and show the steps that I'm going to take to do it, so they can see in real time how it's working, and then we get to the goal line and we cross it together as a community.
You've addressed this a little bit, but the next question, our final question is, how do you gain consensus on a city council at a time when agreements and accomplishments in a unanimous way is very, very rare for a body like an elected body? So how do you fit in and make that work?
Well, luckily, it's not unanimous. It only has to be a majority. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, is that I don't need everybody to agree, and nobody normally agrees with anything anyhow. So the idea is just to find the likenesses, you know? It's like, you know, Chatelaine State Street. It's not going to be one or the other. It's going to be a combination of both, you know? So being able to find out where the most important things for them are and the most important things for us are, and trying to find a way that we can bring those two sides together to make it work. I've lived my life that way, being the youngest of 12. You know, you learn how to negotiate quick, you know? So those skills, you know, I didn't think they were gonna help me out later in life, but they helped me. They helped me in business, they helped me in coaching, you know, mentoring, things that I've done my whole adult life. And so I'm gonna bring that experience, and hopefully, you know, we'll gather everybody together and really change the city, because we need hope. You know, and we need to bring back the pride to Santa Barbara, where you feel like, yeah, this is where I live, you know? And right now you walk down certain streets, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, that trash, look what's going on. So we just want to bring back the pride of Santa Barbara, where you feel like, I'm good, you know, and you brag about where you live, you know? When I was in college, the biggest thing was they came out with that soap opera, Santa Barbara, right? And all my roommates in college were like, no way, that's not where you live. And I said, that's where I live, man. I was very happy to just see it on TV. And that's how people should feel about Santa Barbara. Like, this is where I grew up. This is why I want to keep it nice. This is why I stay here. And even though prices are crazy, you know, we can all make it work, but we just got to think outside of the box and bring community and bring the private sector and also the public sector together and figure out solutions to make it work for everyone. And I'm willing to do that.
Thank you. That's Tony Becerra. He's running for District 3 seat on the Santa Barbara City Council, covering the west side, but it extends, as we say, all the way out to State Street and other areas of the city. Please check our website for all the candidate interviews as you make your decisions for the November 5th election. I'm John Palmentary. Thanks for joining us.